Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Shannon claims not Larry, not MJ, not Magic, or any other NBA player has had the power that King James has. Skip argues Michael Jordan made Scotti Pippen, and Scotti is not a top 50 player. FS1 analyst Greg Jennings checks in to help us break down who is the best player in the Super Bowl, and he agrees with Skip. Hall of Fame wideout Chris Carter is here to tell us who's more valuable to their team, Julio Jones or Julian Edelman. Our favorite linebacker Ray Lewis drops by to give his take on who's more important to the Patriots' success, Bill Belichick or Tom Brady. Finally, the guys debate the newest round of antics from Antonio Brown and what it means for my Pittsburgh Steelers. How about this crowd, Skip?
No disrespect to our Monday crowd or our Tuesday crowd, but this crowd is on fire! And allow me to say, because we are in Houston, how about them Cowboys? Shannon Sharpe, this is your worst nightmare. We're in Houston, Texas, dominated by Cowboy fans.
Hold on. The fans are here, but the team is not. There's something wrong with the picture. What did I miss?
Touche. Next year. We're good. Next year.
It's been 22 years and counting for next year to come.
Well, there is always next year. Let's get it started. Let's start with ongoing beef between Charles Barkley and the King, or as he calls himself now, the new sheriff. Last week, Barkley said LeBron was, quote, whiny and inappropriate. LeBron responded and called Barkley a hater. Barkley responded yesterday. Let's take a listen.
I don't overreact. I'm not going to say anything bad about him or get personal. I stick by what I said. He was all whiny and everything last week. So I'm good, man. If I'm going to be straightforward like I always try to be, I know guys going to come back at me sometimes. So I'm good. He got personal, but like I say, I'm never going to get personal on an NBA player. Clearly he did his homework on some screw-ups I've had in my life. Because I think he was young when I was playing. But listen, man, I'm not going to get upset that somebody said something bad about me. I'm not like 12 years old. But like I say, my initial criticism was fair, and I'm good with that. Some of those things he said about me are correct. That still does not make my message incorrect. I thought he was really whiny and complaining the last couple of weeks, talking about he got no help. I'm like, dude, you just won the championship. And it's the middle of the season, and you're just bashing your teammates. I think that wasn't right. You keep saying, we're not in it, we're not that good. I'm like, dude, y'all are the reigning defending NBA champs. I mean, and anybody in that circle, they're so intimidated, but I'm not intimidated at all.
Shannon, was Barkley's criticism of LeBron fair?
No, it wasn't fair yesterday. It's not going to be fair today. It's not going to be fair tomorrow. You know what this boils down to this. LeBron has been the target since he's entered into the National Basketball Association. Because why? Because he was on Sports Illustrated at 17, 18 years of age. He was the king. He was the chosen one. Before he ever dribbled an NBA basketball, he had a $90 million contract from Nike. That causes resentment. The older guys look at LeBron. No basketball player in the history of the game has had more power than LeBron James. Not Michael, not Magic, not Larry. They resent that because he swings the pendulum of power. You see, no matter what Michael Jordan said, Jerry Krause did, and Jerry Reinsdorf, who was the owner of the team, Jerry Krause was the general manager, they did what they wanted to do. Michael says, I want this. They did that. Michael says, I want that. They did this. And so when LeBron says, this is what I want, they go out and get it for him. Also, he's doing it differently. See, fans need to get out, and older guys need to get out of this thought process. If a team puts the team together, it's okay. Because as long as Boston Celtics, they made this trade, they got Paris, they moved up in the draft, they got McHale, that was fine. Now the players are saying, we got the power. We're going to go play where we want to play. We're going to take all that power out of your hand. It rubs Barkley the wrong way. It rubs some of the older guys the wrong way. It rubs Skip Bayless the wrong way. But it's going to happen anyway. Number two, for him to say LeBron James does not want to compete. The guy's been to 6 straight finals. He's a 3-time finals MVP, but he doesn't want to compete. And we're going to sprinkle in 2 Olympics of the last 3, but he doesn't want to compete. See, the problem that I have with Barkley and people like Skip Bayless is that when LeBron loses, everybody talks about LeBron's meltdown with Dallas. But was he the only one playing? What about Chris Bosh? What about D. Wade? What about Chalmers? What about Udonis? No, not about that. But when he wins, it was Ray Allen that hit the big shot. Oh, it was Kyrie Irving that bailed him out. So he gets all the credit for the losses, but very minimal credit for the wins.
Wait, who's the best player on the planet according to Shannon Sharpe?
Hold on, what you mean according to Shannon? The other 6.9 billion people say he's the best player.
According to 6.9 billion people, the best player by far on the planet is one LeBron James. Should he not get the most blame when the chosen one
and
turns
the most
into the
credit,
frozen one?
And the most credit.
Okay. Has he not had one big meltdown after another in the postseason that is so unbecoming of a greatest player ever? I'm sorry, it's happened too many times.
Okay, what about the 45, 16, and 8 that he had in Game 6 against Boston? Was that a meltdown?
Which series?
You know what series I'm talking about, Skip. Game 6.
Okay, then what happened in the finals?
They won the finals. They beat who, Skip?
What happened in Game 6, if we're going to go there, what happened in Game 6 of the finals in the last 3 minutes, the king, as you call him, had 3 shockingly bad and uncharacteristic turnovers. Then he missed the 3-point shot that should have lost the finals. Long rebound out to Chris Bosh, because Tim Duncan wasn't in the game. What happened, Greg Popovich? I don't know. And kick it to Ray Allen in the corner, who made the greatest clutch shot in the history of basketball to save LeBron's legacy. Another finals loss to send that game to overtime. I'm sorry, that's pretty lucky, LeBron.
They went into the fourth quarter down by 10. LeBron James scores 18. He assisted on the other. So 22 of the 30 points they scored, LeBron either scored or assisted on. Hold on, Skip. He did hit 2 3-pointers to get him within 3 points. Oh, but you don't want to talk about that.
I want to talk about how my Spurs were up 5 with 23 seconds left and choked their guts out. That's what happened. And LeBron benefited from that. And I'm being objective because I'm honest about my team.
Well, who had him in the chokehold? LeBron?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got you. LeBron had him in the chokehold.
Here was LeBron that night.
Skip. Okay, here's the thing. Tell me what the difference is between what LeBron's saying, that we need a point, we need a big, as opposed to what Steph, Clay, and Draymond boarding a charter flight, going to the Hamptons to try and recruit Kevin Durant. I just want to tell me the difference. Because they won 73 games without Kevin Durant. They said they needed to upgrade. So what is the difference between what LeBron's saying, we need a point guard and a big, as opposed to what they did in the offseason?
Who won the finals last year? Help me out. I'm foggy. Oh, LeBron's team won the finals. Who won on Christmas Day in Cleveland against Golden State? LeBron's team won. And you still don't have enough help?
Hold on. So he shouldn't try and improve because he won the finals last year and he won on Christmas.
Hold on. Is LeBron better than Steph Curry? According to you, absolutely. Is he better than Kevin Durant? According to you, he owns Kevin Durant. Okay. Is he better than Draymond Green? Well, you would laugh at that question. Is he better than Clay? Sure, you would say he's better than Clay. He's the best player on the planet.
You see what he did? He named
Everybody sees exactly what I just did.
He named all individual players that happen to be on one team. You see what he did? Oh, he's better than this guy. They got 4 guys. You know it, Skip. All the man saying, give me a point guard, Skip, he's playing 38 minutes a game at age of 32. That's unheard of. Nobody's played that many minutes at that age, at this juncture of their career. He's not saying...
That's his fault. He's the coach.
He's not... Hold on, Skip. He didn't say, go get me Boogie Cousins. He didn't say, go get me James Harden.
He'd take them if they come. He'd take them right now. He needs all the help he can get.
So Golden State turned down Kevin Durant, huh?
Well, he went to them and said, can I come and play for you? Because I'm sick of playing with this guy who shoots it every time.
I could have swore he was in the Hamptons. Now, I don't know if they got a basketball team in the Hamptons.
He sent them a message saying, I want to come to Golden State.
They could have said no.
They're like, really? Okay, we can do that.
73-9, but they felt they needed to get better. So LeBron wins the title, but he wants to get better, but that's a problem.
Once again, we are changing the subject and changing the narrative off the question at hand. Did Charles Barkley get personal with his criticism of LeBron James?
That was not the question. The question was Charles' criticism of LeBron?
That's the issue
fair?
On the table right now.
No, it was not fair.
Okay. Was it personal to you?
Yes, it was.
Can you show me one quote out of Charles Barkley's mouth that you deem personal as a personal attack on LeBron and what he said about him?
Okay, when describing a basketball player, where does whiny come into that equation?
Okay.
Was it about his post-up game, his mid-range game, his defense? What is whiny in terms of basketball?
Was that spoken in the context of LeBron speaking about his basketball team? I don't have enough help. Charles said, and I quote, I'm quoting Charles here, it just pisses me off that a guy that great doesn't want to compete. That's all he's saying. It's because, look, he grew up with Michael Jordan. He came up through with the ranks with Michael Jordan.
And he lost.
He made the point that once upon a time, Michael Jordan, before he had any help, went to Boston Garden.
Got swept.
For a first-round playoff series.
Got swept.
Okay? Game 2 at Boston Garden. Did Michael sit down with the media before the game and say, I don't have enough help today?
He got swept.
You know what happened that day? He scored 63 points. And to quote Charles, he said, I'm going to just kick y'all's ass. That's what he was saying to the Celtics. It went 2 overtimes. It was 135-131 Boston because Boston had Bird and McHale and Parrish and even Danny Ainge. And guess who Michael Jordan had beside him? He had Orlando Woodridge and Charles Oakley. Period. End of story. That's it.
So you mean to tell me God with Air Jordans on couldn't beat the Big Three in Boston?
Well, 2 overtimes? That's pretty great.
Did he win,
that team.
Skip?
That team was the best team in basketball.
Did he win?
Best team in the basketball on their floor. And he took them to 2 overtimes. Did he complain about it? No.
Michael Jordan, first 3 playoff series. Tell the fans what happened.
He ran into 3 of the best teams in basketball history when he was still a baby.
Oh, so one guy can't beat 3.
Wait a second. When he finally broke through, he won 6 finals and 6 tries with 6 MVPs. That's Mount Rushmore.
Hold on. I was, when Michael was going through this, I was fairly young. I think I was about 18 or 19. When did he start winning playoff series? When he got who? Scottie Pippen. Mm-hmm. Oh, so before he got Scottie Pippen, what was happening, Skip? He got swept. He got swept.
Scottie Pippen left what team to join forces with Michael Jordan? Oh, wait a second. He left no teams. He got drafted by the Bulls out of Arkansas Little Rock. He got drafted. He was a really good draft pick by Jerry Krause.
Skip. That's the difference between then and now. Teams put teams together. They made Boston made the trade. They traded their first pick to get Robert Parrish. Mm-hmm. Kevin McHale was the 4th pick in the draft. They had Bird because back then, you remember, you could draft guys earlier. They had Bird before he even got out of college. So you could do that back then. They didn't have a problem because, remember, the Celtics also traded for Dennis Johnson. They got him. They also had Nate Archibald. They traded for him. They also had Bill Walton. So Larry Bird played with 5 other Hall of Famers. Magic Johnson had Kareem, the all-time leading scorer, more MVPs than anybody in history. James Worthy, top 50 player. Jamal Wilkes, top 50 player.
And all Michael Jordan had was an overrated Scottie Pippen, who's
he overrated. He overrated.
Not a top 50 player. Michael Jordan made Scottie Pippen everything that he is and was.
Why did Scottie is so
true? Hey, Houston, you're probably too young to remember. What happened when Scottie Pippen left the Bulls and came to the Rockets? Nothing happened. Nothing. What happened when Scottie went to the Trailblazers? Nothing happened.
Okay, how about this, Skip? How about when Charles got into the league, he got drafted by the 76ers. Moses Malone, top 50 player. Dr. J, top 50 player.
We're leaving the point here. We're losing the issue. You're changing the subject just the way LeBron tried to change
all
it.
I'm saying is Charles, 15 years in 1984, Moses Malone said Charles was fat and lazy. Scottie Pippen came 1 year and wanted, listen, let me finish. Scottie Pippen came to Houston 1 year and played with Charles and says, I'm done playing with his sorry, fat butt.
Okay, does that make Charles's criticism of LeBron 2 days ago any less valid?
Skip.
No. He said what he said, and he was right about what he said.
Skip, look, I was an analyst on another network for 10 years. I'm trying to, when I talk about wide receivers, I'm talking about how they get in and out of breaks. I'm talking about how they get off press coverage. I'm talking about how they catch the ball in the crowd. Tell me where Charles Barkley is critiquing LeBron James' game.
He's the best player on the planet who's whining about he doesn't have enough help and that we're too top-heavy. Top-heavy, everybody wants to be top-heavy. Every team wants to have 3 stars, and he's got 3 stars.
You still haven't told me where Charles is critiquing his game.
That's his game. He's the leader of the team. It's a basketball question. It's a context question. Wait a second. Did Charles talk about LeBron's family? No. Did he talk about his off-the-court life or behavior? No. He's talking about it in a basketball context.
Okay, okay. Well, give me the critique of whining. I'm looking to see the post-up, the mid-range. What's whining? Whining is a personal attack on someone. It is not.
You want to know personal attack? I think I'm the most qualified person on this planet to talk about a Charles Barkley personal attack. And I'm going to go here because you pushed me here. But going back 5 to 10 years ago, Charles went on a national campaign on big talk show after national talk show to talk about me. And you know what he kept saying? He said it on the David Letterman show, the Jay Leno show, the Dan Patrick show. I would like to kill Skip Bayless. Now, that's a personal attack, okay? Did I respond personally back to Charles one time? My wife didn't love this. My mother really didn't love this. But did I respond as LeBron did with a personal attack back at Charles? I don't care. It's fine. But that was a personal attack. Did Charles say he wants to kill LeBron James? Absolutely not. Obviously he didn't. That's personal. That's what you call crossing the line.
Everybody says you should take the high road. But only the people that say you should take the high road is not where the criticism is being pointed at. LeBron said it was unfair. He's tired of the older guys, especially Charles Barkley, keep mentioning him in a negative light.
Okay,
if you want to critique my game, that I need to shoot better, if you want to critique my game, I need to post up better.
But this is about his game. It's so great, he doesn't need any more help. They just beat Golden State on Christmas.
Let me ask you a question. So how does he doesn't want to compete compared to going to 6 straight finals and winning 3 of them?
He's in the cakewalk Eastern Conference. They're going to make it with their eyes closed this year. They're going to make it again. They have no competition in the East. That's what Charles is talking about.
But you know what? I've never heard you say that the Patriots are in the AFC East and Tom Brady has a cakewalk. Okay. You never say that.
All right, but what I also said to you last week was, you know who has a real valid reason to complain about not having enough help? Tom Brady does right now. He's throwing to Julian Edelman and Chris Hogan. Have you heard Brady say one time, I lost Gronkowski and Belichick got me no help. I have no help on off. Look at all the weapons Atlanta has. No.
So let me ask you a question. When Coach Belichick went out and got Chris Hogan and got Dante Scarnecchia to come out of retirement, did Tom Brady say, man, I don't want those guys?
Yeah, but that made national headlines, didn't it? Patriots signed Chris Hogan. The world has changed. All of a sudden, the Patriots are prohibitive favorites with Chris Hogan, a guy Buffalo didn't want.
Miami didn't want him either. A lot of teams didn't want him. There have been a lot of guys that teams didn't want that turned out to be fairly good. Let me ask you a question. Who has the most receiving yards in a single game in Patriots history that came into existence in 1960?
I don't know.
What's
your point?
You know, the point is, you see, the way you look at it, if a guy's not Antonio Brown or Julio Jones, they're not good. There's 1,700 guys out of 7 billion do what a guy does in the National Football League. If they play, these guys are starters. They're better than anybody else at their job at what they do.
Does Julian Edelman belong in the same sentence with Julio Jones? Seriously, no, he doesn't. It's preposterous.
But that's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Just because they don't belong in the same sentence, that doesn't mean they're not good players.
Let's bring it back to here.
Okay.
What has Shannon Sharpe said this year about one Richard Sherman? Let's talk about scathing criticism. You have been scathingly critical of him.
I said he was a dirty player.
You said he's become a dirty player.
Yes.
Is that personal? Not to me. I thought it was justifiable criticism. I thought it was extremely valid.
I can pull the tape
I'm sure Richard could say, that's personal. You're talking about something that's really not about how I play cornerback.
Because, Skip, I've been doing this, and I did it 12 years as an analyst.
Yeah.
This is my first year doing it with you. You know what? Not one time has an ever guy called me to the carpet. Because all you got to do, you can say Shannon doesn't know what he's talking about. Let's watch the tape, and you tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
But you were scathing on Odell for going to Miami. That's not really a football thing, but it really impacted a football game, and I was critical too. That's okay.
I said it's not going to have an impact on the game. That's not how I would have handled it. But it was his off day. He was well within his right to go do it. Now, would I have handled it like that? No. I'm not critiquing, Odell, man, you childish, you this, you that. I didn't know. I'm talking about his football game. That's not how I would have done it. I would not have gone to Miami with Tim's and hung out on a boat the week before a game.
And you criticized Antonio for going live on Facebook in the locker room as his coach around the corner was speaking to the team after the win at Kansas City to get them in the AFC Championship.
I said he was selfish because at that very moment, he made it more about him than them.
I'm with you on that. But some people could say, Antonio could say, oh, that's just a grumpy old man, Shannon Sharpe, getting personal with me, trying to kill the messenger or discredit or disqualify the message from the messenger.
40 years ago, today, and 40 years from now, the locker room will always be safe.
I'm with you.
Always.
Okay.
Now, how people handle the media and the platforms that they have to go about certain things, that's going to change. That's forever evolving. But the locker room is sacred. I'm not going to... I try to go out of my way to make sure I'm not personal. Also, Charles says, I'm not going to be LeBron's friend. You don't have to be friends to be friendly.
No.
I talk about a lot of different guys, but when I see them, Skip, I will shake their hand, and you know what I say? Hi, I'm Shannon Sharpe. Even I know who you are.
And they might not want to shake yours back.
But that's okay.
Okay.
But I don't want them to think I'm skirting them, I'm dodging them. I see you, I make eye contact with you. I'm going to continue to do my job. I just want you to know I'm not trying to hide anything.
It's a new NBA now, though. Everybody needs to be friends and get along.
No, they don't.
Say nice things to each other.
So Charles and Michael weren't friends. Isaiah and Magic weren't friends.
We've talked about this. We've talked about this.
So what's the big deal?
It's a different environment now. LeBron wants everyone to like him. We know that. That's how this works.
LeBron,
Yes.
When you win, they don't like you. That's why the Patriots are the most hated team, because they win.
The Cavs only won one championship.
LeBron wins.
They've got a little
well, you worry about the Heat. You worry about the Heat.
They're doing well. No mercy. We're joined by two-time Super Bowl champion Ray Lewis. Welcome, Ray, to Undisputed.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Let's talk a little bit about the Patriots. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady are both appearing in an NFL record 7th Super Bowl. They've won 4 titles together and have lost 2. Ray, who deserves more credit for the Patriots' success, Brady or Belichick?
I think, there's two sides. I think on the field, you have to go with Tom Brady. I mean, what he does from a field perspective and as a leader, like guys, it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to 100% show up every day and be that guy that everybody wants to follow. And then so you think about free agents and people who want to come and one day possibly play with Tom Brady, right? We always talk about, you don't have to be a big name to play with Tom Brady. I think it's because of what he brings on the field. And that's a security for a lot of coaches, because a lot of coaches always look for that one guy that they don't have to do everything, right, when they go on the field. If they go from the meeting rooms, that's one thing. But when Tom Brady steps on that football field, from the meeting room to the football field, it's a whole nother ball game. Now, let's flip it. Bill Belichick and what he's done as an organization. I spoke to too many guys and been to too many Pro Bowls with guys that's played for him up under him and talk about how professional he really is, how he runs his system. So I think the compliment, what they have for both of them, is really amazing, right? You don't see it too often. And when you do see it, it's recorded. Like people can remember all the way down. And I think that's why they both understand each other very well and also respect each other very well, because they know each other's roles. Everybody has their own role. Belichick runs everything infrastructure-wise. When it comes to the football field, Tom Brady runs every freaking thing. And when you watch it, even when you're playing against him, it's really something that you have to pay attention to. Bill has already given them whatever they're going to do. But when he gets on the field, they have a conversation. He don't say, you do this, you do that. They just have a conversation, and Tom then goes and does what he does best.
So, bottom line, if you had to choose one of them.
You can't. I'm telling you, and I think that's the magic of New England. I think that's what people don't try to do. this is the problem. And we ran into this before in many other teams, right? Sometimes people try to do too much.
Yep.
Sometimes coaches try to be a player. That's not. Sometimes a player try to be a coach, right? And then I think that's when, for them to separate that, I think it's clear what New England is all about. I think on the field, it's easy, Tom Brady. On the field, Bill Belichick.
And I don't want to minimize with Tom because he has a chance to do something, and both of these guys have an opportunity to do something unprecedented. I believe after seeing, I don't just look at championships. I look at body of work leading up to championships. I look at the regular season. I look at how many times you won your division. I look at how many times you've advanced to the AFC Championship game, how many times you won that game. And so I look at it as a body of work, and I would never, ever minimize a Mount Rushmore quarterback. I believe he's the number one face on Mount Rushmore, Tom Brady. But for me, it's Coach Belichick.
How though? How?
Because see, Coach Belichick's system. He implemented everything in how it's going to be run. Now, Tom Brady makes it easier because he's their best player. He's their hardest worker. So once you get that, but without that system, because we've seen guys that are great workers and that are great and hard workers, but they don't have a coach. They don't have a system in place, and everything goes haywire. Coach Belichick comes in, and what he's able to do. He doesn't really want names because it's hard to control a guy that has a name that wants to build a brand, that wants to be a Pro Bowl player, that wants to be an All-Pro. If you notice, he doesn't go real out and draft anybody in the draft. He doesn't get anybody with a splash name. A lot of the guys that he drafted in the first round, you've really never heard of.
Because they didn't make it?
No.
Cut it out.
It's because Coach Belichick understands that guys have egos. And if you catch 50 balls this year, you're going to expect to catch 75, 80, and so forth and so on. He needs guys that understand it's not you, it's the scheme. If you look at the way they rush the passer, nobody's trying to pick a side. They rush straight down the middle.
Okay, well, I got to ask you this question since you said that. So if that's true, take Tom Brady away from the New England Patriots. Do they go to 7 Super Bowls without Tom Brady?
No, but I don't believe they go to 7 Super Bowls without Bill Belichick either.
And that's why I think.
But we've seen them have some success without Tom. They're 13-6 in the 19 games. Let me ask you a question. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Tom Brady was suspended all year. If Jimmy Garoppolo is their starting quarterback, do you think they're still here?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
Who beats them?
No. A lot of people without Tom Brady.
Who?
A lot. I don't know. I can't call it right.
Think about it. Jimmy Garoppolo is a backup, and I can make a case for him. He's the 4th best quarterback in the AFC right now.
No.
Now I'm not going to listen to this.
Tom Brady.
I'm not going to listen to this.
Tom Brady.
No.
Big Ben. Andrew Luck. Name the other quarterbacks that you'd rather have over here. You want okay? Can I interest you in Brock Osweiler?
Get your hands off me.
Okay, my bad, Phil. David Carr. I'll take David Carr over here.
Let's get back to the question.
Yeah, get back to the question.
This question becomes offensive to me because
Really?
I don't think it's even close. It has always been Tom Brady more valuable than Bill Belichick. In fact, I believe that Tom Brady saved Bill's job and made Bill what he became. He allowed Bill to become Bill Belichick. I'm going to remind you again, in 5 of Belichick's first 6 years as a head coach in this league, some in Cleveland, New England, he had losing records. He was on his way to a losing record in 2001 when they lost the first 2 games, and they lost Drew Bledsoe. It was the most fateful injury in NFL history because it made history from that moment forward, because it saved Belichick from a 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback in Drew Bledsoe, because out of the sky into their lap in the 6th round had fallen some kid from Michigan who had run the ugliest looking combine 40-yard dash you will ever see.
Yeah.
But he could play when the chips were on the table, as you saw up close. And you guys did the best job anybody ever did against him in his place. But he can play. He's got laser focus. He's got intangibles. He's got a killer will in him that supersedes whatever talent he wasn't born with. So the point is, they took off. And Bill, I give credit for, he saw the handwriting on the locker room wall right away, and he dismissed Drew Bledsoe, traded him to a division rival in Buffalo because he knew he had the goods in Tom Brady.
And he knew Bledsoe wasn't that good because anytime you would trade a player within your division, you're saying we don't believe you got nothing left.
But let's do the hypothetical. What if Drew Bledsoe stays healthy that year? What if they go 5-11 again as they had the previous year in New England? Even Eric Mangini says, we were ready to put our houses on the market. He was an assistant coach on that team because we feared we were all going to get fired. What if they do get fired and Bill is 0 for 2 as a head coach? You know what he becomes from that point forward? He becomes a Wade Phillips. And I love Wade Phillips. You played for him.
Played one.
But you become one of the great defensive coordinators, and that would have been Bill's legacy. He would have become a coordinator somewhere, I don't know, maybe for the Houston Texans. I don't know where he would have been, but he would have been successful as a coordinator because he can really coach defense. But Tom Brady allowed him to stock his defense however he wanted to stock it. I want guys who play my style, my way. I don't want any big egos. I don't want any big talent guys. I do it my way because my quarterback takes care of the whole offense. He created the system. He's the one who schooled Matt Castle and made him playoff or game ready, obviously, when he had to step in when Brady got hurt. He taught Jimmy Garoppolo. Go ask Garoppolo who he's learned how to play quarterback
So Tom Brady was the genius and the brain behind Willie McGinnis, Richard Seymour, and Ty Law on the other side of that defense.
They were already there before he got there.
Which is
it helped some.
Up under who's tutoring? Bill Belichick.
Okay, Tom obviously benefited from what was in place on defense the first year, but slowly but surely all those guys got weeded out. And now Bill Belichick is able to say, Chandler Jones, you're causing me some off-field problems. You're my best pass rusher. You're the most talented player on my team, on my defense. I'm getting rid of you. I'm going to trade you. Jamie Collins, you're the second most talented player on my defense. We don't need you. You know why? Because for 17 years, he's had the best quarterback in football running.
That's why they complement each other so well.
Okay. But here's the thing, though, Skip. But Coach Mangini also said he kept Tom for intangibles, not because of his ability to play, because he was really rough. So he could have cut Tom Brady, and we might not have this story. So I think
possible
because he saw. Think about it. In the 6th round, how many teams passed on him? He took that chance. Okay, he kept him for intangibles.
He did.
Not for his ability that he thought he was going to be great, but there was just something about this kid that I see that I like. I'm going to keep him around. So he gets credit for that. It's his system that he was able to build.
Think how blessed Belichick's been. For 17 years, the most important position in sports, quarterback, has been taken care of by a guy who wanted no credit. He didn't even want to share. He never asked for any credit. No drama on Tom Brady's side, right? No off the field at all. He takes less money than he deserves to make, unlike LeBron. LeBron says, I deserve the max.
Right.
Tom Brady says, no, I don't care. I make enough off the field. Just give me whatever you want to give me because I want more depth around me, especially on defense. Bill Belichick has gotten away, save for Randy Moss, which he traded a 4th-round pick for, stole him from Oakland because Oakland thought he was finished. But save for that one big year with Randy Moss, Belichick has gotten away with giving Tom Brady nothing. I mean, they started out with Troy Brown at receiver.
He gives everybody, because here's the thing, because Tom has taken less money over the years, he automatically expects every other player to take. The only player that's got max dollars that was a free agent that stayed in New England is Richard Seymour. Everybody else, either you take less or you must move on. That's the simple.
He's arguably, you already said he's the best quarterback in history.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And you're telling me he takes less money than he deserves?
Why wouldn't he, though?
Wow.
Why wouldn't he, though? If the ultimate goal is to win, then why wouldn't you take less money?
That's what I always ask about LeBron. Why wouldn't you just take less money? You're making tons of money off the court.
But that's the individual thing, though.
Right.
Skip.
Okay.
I don't really like to try and count a man's pocket.
I'll never count a man's pocket.
If that's what he chooses to do, that's what he's going. But think about it, Skip. If LeBron, even LeBron taking max dollars is not getting what he's worth. He's probably worth $150 million a year.
Well, so is Tom Brady, right?
No.
Yes, he is.
No.
Playing the hardest position in sports for this team that's favored to win the Super Bowl again.
But let's get back to the question, because the question is, who gets all the credit, right? Just like Joy understands. In every marriage, right? Behind every good man, there's a good woman, right? So behind every good player, I guarantee you there's a good coach.
Okay, and I'm not saying he deserves no credit, but But Tom Brady doesn't get enough credit for what he's done over 17 years.
I beg the difference.
How about 51-49? I give 51 to Coach Belichick, 49 to Tom Brady.
How? He was not very good as a head coach before Tom Brady walked in the door and changed everything.
A lot of people wasn't.
Mike Shanahan wasn't very good in Oakland.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Pete Carroll got fired from the Jets and the Patriots
before he ended up in Seattle.
So how many coaches could get away with giving the quarterback Julian Edelman and Chris Hogan as your two go-tos?
You know
what's funny? To win the Super Bowl?
You know what's funny? Pete Carroll done the same exact thing when we was trying to figure out who Russell Wilson was throwing the ball to.
No mercy. Let's talk about the wide receivers in the Super Bowl. Are you going to race Jason Witten? That's we really need to know that.
Which sneakers do I need on, the Louboutins or the low tops?
I think you should do ones with a little more bend in them, personally.
I don't need no bend to outrun him.
I'm so glad we see that on TV. I saw the bottom. I thought you was up here barefoot for a minute. I'm glad I saw the rubber on the bottom. I thought he was barefoot, like he had some sandals on or something.
I'm ready to go. I get it. Don't worry about it. I get it. We got 2 more days.
All right, let's talk about the wide receivers in the Super Bowl. Julio Jones was second in the league in receiving yards this season. On the other side, you have Julian Edelman, who has led the NFL in targets since Week 5 when Tom Brady returned from his suspension. Chris, who is more valuable to their team, Jones or Edelman?
Well, there's 2 different aspects here as far as evaluating the receivers. You mentioned a good stat as far as Edelman since week number 5. He's the most targeted, so he's very, very valuable to Tom Brady. Also, they don't have a bunch of explosive players. They're one of the top 5 teams as far as yards after the catch. So Edelman, what he does is critical for them to be successful, to be able to move the sticks so Tom can get more looks at the defense, churn first downs, win time of possession. He's very sure-handed. Him and Tom are in such sync from the route running ability. Edelman is valuable. Edelman cannot have a bad game for New England to win. Now, on Julio's side, we have a different element. You have one of the rare athletes. He's like a defensive end. When you have a defensive end like Lawrence Taylor or any other great where you have to double team them, Reggie White, Von Miller, these type of players, you have to double team them on every play. So what you do is you tilt the field because you hurt the number count. Okay, so if they single cover Julio, which they're not, all right, they're going to put 2 guys, play zone, and play 2-man. It's already tilting in Atlanta's favor. So Julio just showing up, doing his job, he's going to create a double team. So they only have 9 other defenders to defend 10 people for Atlanta. So it's a number count. People make this more complicated than it is. When you are a great player, it's your job not to only play great, but when they decide to double team you, that's part of your job because you have helped the rest of the offense. You've helped the other receivers. You've helped the 2 running backs. You've helped the tight end because there's only a few things they can do once they commit 2 people to Julio Jones. So when you talk about who's more valuable, one player tilts the field in Julio in a double team, and he's the best receiver in football. So for me, they're both very, very valuable. But if I had to pick who is more critical, it's Julio Jones because he can create the double team that provides a bunch of mismatches. I ain't seen Edelman double team. I haven't seen them try to bracket him. They just put one guy on him. So his job is very, very important. But when you are the man, I have to create the double team. It's what all the great receivers have had to do. You have to make them play cover 2, and then it's the team's job to run the ball or take advantage of the other assets that are on the team. But when you can change the number count, when you can make them commit more people to you than they want to, then you're more valuable than the other receiver. But I don't know anything about receivers.
I just know a little bit. And you notice he didn't say the, he said the. He the man. That's what Julio Jones is. Everything that CC said, because when you look at it, you make a mistake with Julio Jones, he's going to hit his head on the goalpost. You make a mistake with Julian Edelman, it's a 20 yards and the first down. That's the difference between the two. We saw with Tom Brady, when he had a player like Julio Jones, what did he do, Skip? Tom Brady was the MVP, scored the most points in NFL.
Records. Yeah.
Randy Moss.
Think about
Bruce knows him.
Think about what Julio Jones, 13 different receivers caught touchdowns, the most in NFL history. They scored the 8th most points in NFL history. This dude is a game changer. Now, Edelman, I was kind of like an Edelman. I moved the sticks. My job was to move the sticks, and eventually I hit you for 6. See what I did with that, CC? Move the sticks, hit you for 6. Julio Jones, big first downs, yeah. He's going to gut you. paper cuts. Julian Edelman is a paper cut guy. Julio Jones is the guy that sent you to the trauma center. You must worry about him. All eyes, Coach Belichick is emphasizing, Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator. If you think you're close enough, you're too far. I need you in front of Julio. Because if you're behind him, he can catch the ball. I need you in front of him, knowing that you have help over the top. See, I'm not going to even if Butler or Rowe or Logan go one-on-one, that's not even in their vernacular. Coach Belichick says, if anybody mention one-on-one, I'm going to cut you on the spot. Julio Jones is where it's at, Skip. The only thing these two guys have in common, they play receiver and they're both number 11. That's where it starts. That's where it stops.
I completely agree with your final statement. If you put these two in a vacuum, it's a joke. I mean, come on, Julian Edelman, a 7th-round pick who played quarterback in college, option quarterback, versus Julio Jones, for whom the Falcons traded up in the draft and made a sweet deal to change their life on offense.
You mean to tell me Cleveland Browns could have had Julio?
They could have had Julio. You got it. Now, back to Joy's question. Who is more valuable to his team?
Here comes the hocus pocus, people. Watch out.
Here comes the truth. It ain't even close. It's Edelman over
I knew
Julio.
it was going to go there.
Well, it's not even close because wait, is is he back? No, he's not going to be back. No. Julian Edelman is all that Tom Brady has, other than Chris Hogan or Martellus on one leg because he's got bone chips in his ankle, or who else? Michael Floyd, they tried and didn't even suit him up for the AFC Championship game. Michael Floyd inactive for that game. It's all he's got is Julian Edelman. And Chris, I'm not sure they don't try to bracket him underneath. Inside.
I haven't seen no film. Okay, I haven't seen no film of that. Okay,
he is by far the most targeted Patriot. Why wouldn't you try to take him out of the game somehow, some way? Especially if he lines up in the slot. Just put two guys side to side because he's just running option routes back and forth.
Because if you do that, then Tom Brady gonna pick you apart outside, and you don't need to double team.
To whom? Chris Hogan? Seriously?
Dion Lewis. Dion Lewis is. If Gronk was in this game, we wouldn't even have Edelman in this question.
Okay,
if Gronk is playing this game, we ask the question, is Gronk or Julio more valuable?
Okay.
So now Gronk is hurt, so now we throw him in there, slide him up under the door.
Let's go back to 2013. Most targets in the National Football League by far belong to Julian Edelman.
Yeah,
most receptions, Julian Edelman.
When you average
most yards, Julian Edelman since 2013, because he's really all that Brady has had when Gronk has been out. So let's look at just this year. Just this year, 2016. On catches for first downs on third down. Move the chains, as Shannon Sharpe said. 24 times Julian Edelman caught balls for first downs on third down. Julio 9 times caught balls on third down.
The slot receiver is always going to be more critical on third down. Look at Jarvis Landry. His numbers are going to be up where because he plays the slot. It's an easier position because they're normally running option and drag routes.
One thing about Julio that makes him special compared to the other wide receivers, you won't see him complaining. When he gets double teamed, he realizes that's what I'm supposed to do. He's done his job. And they don't target him that much on third down. It's not like they're throwing to him and he's dropping the ball on third down.
Okay, so yards after catch in 2016. 505 for Little Edelman. And only 423 for Julio. So yards after catch, this guy stung you. I don't know how he did it.
Next time you do the stats, have your statistician to look at how far did the ball travel before it got to Julio, and then you do yards after catch after that, because the distance of the ball travel has something to do with that. When you throw them little bubble screens, throw him in the flat little option routes, yes, but look how far the ball had to travel. Yards after catch, sometimes the numbers do lie. Not you, but sometimes the numbers do.
Most broken tackles in the NFL past season, Julian Edelman.
Yeah, that's what he's built for. If he couldn't break tackles, he wouldn't be in the NFL.
He wouldn't be in the league. I agree. Who sets the tone for New England every game offensively?
Brady.
Nope. You know who it is? It's the little number 11. Is he not the best trash talker in the NFL? Does anybody talk more stuff than little Julian? He's up in every DB's face after every catch, screaming at him, trading ball. Does anybody talk more trash?
That's all he's doing is talking because he don't want to go to the bus afterwards. I know that. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing is talking.
All right, but you know what? He reminds me of Conor McGregor. He looks like him with the big beard.
Good Lord.
Okay? He does. does.
Good Lord.
You know
UFC.
what? If
Fox
you said
Sports,
meet
home of
me at-
UFC.
Okay, wait a second. If you said meet me at the bus, I promise you, this guy would meet you at the bus. Now,
Man,
he
look,
might not be able to whip you, but he would die trying.
He would
'cause
be.
That's what he's
he
made
would be.
of.
If you said,
He would.
If you
I'm
said,
serious.
If you said, Julian, meet me at the bus at 5:30, he's on the bus at 5. I don't know where Julian
With
is.
security.
He already
You know
on
what?
the bus.
I don't think that's true.
It's one of them things. He back. Hey, hold me back, Shannon. Hold me back. Let me get out of him,
I
dog.
don't think so. Hey,
Skip.
hey.
Skip. But you're talking about a lot of broken tackles, Skip, because they don't run Julio on jailbreak screens. They don't run him on smoke screens. So he's going to get a lot of yards after the catch. He's going to get a lot of broken tackles. Julio Jones, Matt Ryan set an NFL record, 9.26 yards per attempt. So in the 97-year history, no ball traveled farther than what his did this season. He had 15 more catches than Julio. Julio had 300 more yards. So
He did. Except when, the money's on the table in the postseason. Who had the most 25-yard plus catches? 4 for Edelman, only 1 in the playoffs so far for Julio. How do you figure?
Skip,
that little
Skip,
guy did that?
You do realize the man has 4 straight 100-yard games. He has 3 of the top 10 playoff games in history.
Yet Chris Carter started this off by saying, no Julian Edelman, no chance for the Patriots, right?
No, if he plays bad.
Well, whichever way, yeah. But
Yes.
I mean, if he's taken out of the game or has a bad game or gets hurt early or whatever, that's trouble for the Patriots.
Yes.
No Julio, you still got a chance.
Let me ask you
and I'm not discounting who he is, but you got Sanu and Gabriel. You got those 2 running backs.
Let me ask you a question. This is a 3-point game. If Julio was on the Patriots and Julian Edelman was on the Falcons, what would the spread be?
I think Atlanta would be favored by 6.
Hey, boy, you're learning. That's some trickeration there. You're learning from the master over there. That's some trickeration.
You're going to say if Julio was on the Patriots and Edelman was on Atlanta, Atlanta would be favored by 6
they'd be
points.
favored by 6.
And this is the thing, too. We can't get this mixed up because sometimes you have a conversation and you take one side, it looks like it's a discredit to the other guy.
I agree.
Julian Edelman is a great pro. He has made himself into what I'm talking about, a pro's pro.
He's
not
made himself
talent.
a viable commodity.
Yes, he absolutely. He is a necessary evil. Bill Belichick and
That's
them.
a good term.
No, they need
Necessary
him.
evil.
No, they need him. He has worked on his game mentally and physically. He realized he's got to play like Conor McGregor. He's undersized, doesn't have the speed, but he has all the things you want in a wide receiver, especially a slot receiver, at the top of the route, catching the ball, getting north and south, breaking tackles. He's a team guy. But Julio Jones is on another planet.
Well, he is. If you put him in a vacuum, ain't even close.
You can put him on a vacuum, you can put him on the moon, you can put him on Saturn, you can put him anywhere you want to.
Or whatever planet he's from.
No mercy.
Let's talk about Sunday's game. Pro Football Focus ranked every player in this year's Super Bowl. Tom Brady was number 1, Julio Jones was number 2, and Shannon's neighbor, Matt Ryan, came in 3rd. Greg, we'll get to you in a minute, but first, Shannon, who is the best player in the Super Bowl?
Julio Jones. It says the best player, not the most valuable player, not the most important player. You're talking about a guy that's 6'3", 225 pounds, running 4.3 40. He can make every catch, huge catch radius, can run the route tree, tough in traffic, great run after the catch. You know who he reminds me of? And when I say it, you're going to say, you know what, you're right. He's T.O. without the antics. Big, physical, can run through contact, can do everything.
I give you that. Sure.
Skip, the dude is special. And everybody's like, well, he misses game. He's always going to be nicked. He's like Calvin Johnson because a man that size at that weight shouldn't be able to run that fast. That's a lot of torque. That's a lot of tension on muscles and tendons. Because think about it. If you get in your car and you go full speed for, say, like 20 yards or 30 yards and slam on brakes and do that over and over, that's what he's doing every game. He's doing that in practice. So he's going to have problems with lower legs. But putting the ball in his hands as the best player, there's no question in my mind, he's the best player. That's what they said, best, not most valuable, because the way I look at a player, can you impact the game without scoring or catching the ball? They've scored 40-plus points where he has 1 catch, no touchdowns, 2 catch, no touchdowns, because he lifts coverage. You don't want to put that 8th guy in the box? Freeman Coleman, run wild. Oh, you want to roll coverage my way? So, Gabriel, do your thing. That's what he does. That's the impact. See, if Tom Brady doesn't play great, Matt Ryan doesn't play great, they can't win. Julio doesn't have to do well, and he can still impact the game without touching the football. That's how dynamic of a player he is. That's why I believe he's the best player, not the most valuable, not the most important.
Okay, quick point of order before you go.
Go for it.
Julio Jones is faster than Terrell Owens ever thought about being.
Yeah.
Seriously.
No, but
and Julio has more consistent hands. He catches the ball more consistently than Terrell. Terrell would drop balls in big games.
Yes.
But this guy, this is freaky. And again, when Sanu 2 weeks ago said he's an alien, he's like an alien to me. I've never seen anything quite like this package.
But if you look at them, the same body types, both of them 6'3", 225.
Well, their bodies are the
great
same.
run after catch.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I believe Julio has better hands than T.O., but their body and their games remind me of each other.
Okay, so the obvious pick would be for me to go with a receiver, but I'm not. I'm actually going to jump on the other side, and go with Tom Brady. I'm going to minimize the statistics because I know you have the stats for us. If you're picking Tom. When it comes to best player, and yes, Julio impacts the game without having to catch the ball, without having to score touchdowns. Tom impacts the game on offense, on defense, because what he does, he puts pressure on your defense, he puts pressure on your offense, he puts pressure on your defenders to make sure they're trying to get pressure on him. If you don't disrupt what he's doing, you have no shot at slowing them down. He has so many. You talk about all the weapons that the Falcons have. Now, I've selected the Falcons to win, but when we talk about best player, if you take Tom Brady off of that field on Sunday, the Patriots have no shot. No shot. That's what the best player does, regardless of how they impact the game, whether they played well or not. If they're removed, can they still have a chance of winning? If you remove Julio, does the Atlanta Falcons still have a chance of winning? Yes,
sure,
they do.
So you said the Patriots can't win with Garoppolo?
Not in this game. No.
But you believe you believe the Atlanta can still win if Julio's not on the field?
If Julio's not on the field, does it minimize their chances? Yes. But does it eliminate their chances? No. When we look at what the Patriots have done, forget regular season. What they've done in Super Bowl championship games, they need Tom Brady. Tom Brady is Mr. Super Bowl. You know any other player that's been there many times as him? Do you know any other player that gets the MVP almost every time they step on the field? Do you know any other player that can impact the game with just the way he emotionally lifts his team, not even throwing the football? Do you know any other leader that's doing what he does? We don't talk about Tom Brady in a negative light when it comes to his passion. I'm a receiver. When I see what Tom Brady does, when I see him animated and getting on his guys, I don't have a problem with that. Why? Because he does it all the time. When you look at other quarterbacks, they pick and choose when they want to do it. Outside of Matt Ryan, he's very subtle in that respect. But when you look at Tom Brady, whether they're performing high, whether they're performing low, he is on his guys. He doesn't need a coach to, Tom, I need you to step in. I need you to get him going. He doesn't need that because they have a Tom Brady. They have a guy who understands what it takes both on the field and off the field. Regardless of how we view him off the field, the guy is special. And I'm kind of like Ray. I heard Ray say, I don't like nothing about the New England Patriots. I'm not that. I'm not all the way on that side of it, but it's just something about this team that they win all the time, so they force you to not like them, not root for them.
I got it.
But that Tom Brady, man.
Oh, he's special.
Greg Jennings, thank you for speaking the truth against your.
I'm lying. I'm lying over here.
Not you lying.
Here's what blows my mind about my partner across the table. I love my partner. He's in the Hall of Fame. But he continues to undervalue this position called quarterback in the National Football League. And I don't get it because there are two players who will step onto the field Sunday evening or afternoon here, who will be better than Julio just because of the very nature of the position they play. And it'll be Tom Brady and Matt Ryan. They're just better than Julio. And whether you want to say more valuable, they're just better because Julio can only be this good because he's what you guys were. He's a receiver. He is completely dependent upon that position to make him what he's going to be in the game. If the quarterback doesn't make the right decision or throw him an accurate pass, he is rendered impactless in the game, right? He can't have any impact on the game. He is completely dependent upon the play called, the decision made by the quarterback's ability to dodge the rush, and then throw him a ball that is catchable, right? So by the very nature and definition of that position, it's not even close. It's Brady, it's Ryan, and then it's Julio. And I give you everything you said about Julio. He's going to maybe revolutionize this position. He has a chance to be better than Jerry Rice, given his health, which may not hold because of what you said. He's just too fast for his own body. It's going to break him down over time.
But Skip, every quarterback touches the ball. Every quarterback has to dodge the rush. Every quarterback has to make the throw. That doesn't mean that, so enough. And what you're saying, the other 32 starting quarterbacks are better than Julio Jones also because they have to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Most of them are. We could go down the list, but most quality starting quarterbacks, and I could go probably 15, 16 deep.
But see, because they're still looking at the value. You're looking at the important.
Yeah, and
I'm looking at the best player.
And I'm with you on that. I disagree with that point of it's just because it's a quarterback, they're better because we're receivers and we're dependent. Yes, we are dependent.
Everybody's dependent on somebody.
Exactly. My thing, the quarterback is dependent on how well his receivers perform to make him look better.
How well his line protect him.
Exactly. And the issue that I have with that, Skip, is every time we look at a quarterback, we make it seem like they make everyone better. They do to a certain extent, but does Shannon make you better?
No.
I'm not trying to. I'm trying to.
No. Just that response right there lets me know that he does.
Oh yeah.
Do you make Shannon better? Yes. I'm just gonna state the facts. Yes, you guys compliment one another.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the team sport. It's not one compliments the other so much more that I'm demised by. Oh well, you know what? I gotta depend on this guy. Yes, but he has to depend on me. We trust one another. That's the beauty of when you watch Matt Ryan and when you watch a Julio Jones. You watch their humility. You watch their lack of I need the attention. I need everything to be focused on me. That's what makes those two so special. And if we just go to the Atlanta Falcons, Julio is definitely more of an MVP to that organization and that team. Why? Because he's looked upon as the guy. When you listen to their media day, you heard those guys saying, Julio's that guy.
Yep.
He's the one who gets us going. He's the one who comes to practice every single day as though this is it. He doesn't take days off. He wants to practice even when he's hurt, when he's injured. A quarterback doesn't have those issues. They're icing their shoulder. They're doing all those.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, they're important.
So you're saying I was always right about what I always said about you, that Greg Jennings made Aaron Rodgers. Right?
I'm saying you're right. I'm saying you're right, but halfway there. Like, I can't sit here and say I made Aaron Rodgers. I made him better. He made me better. We complemented each other.
But you made him better than he made you better.
I'm not saying all of that because I'm a humble guy.
No mercy. So, Ray, let's talk about a team that you know pretty well, the Pittsburgh Steelers, given some trouble over the years. A Pittsburgh Post-Gazette report says Antonio Brown ran wrong routes on purpose when he wasn't happy about how he was being used in the offense. This follows the heavy scrutiny that Brown faced for recording Mike Tomlin's post-game speech on Facebook Live and not talking to the media after the AFC Championship game. Ray, we'll get to you in a second, but Shannon, I'll start with you. Would you want Antonio on your team?
First, let me respond by saying I hope the reports of him running the wrong route or pouting or moping isn't true. I'm just going to say I hope that it is not true. Man. But seeing what I've seen from him this year, I'm going to pass, Skip. I don't want him. Because I look at it like, how many Super Bowls have they won with him? I'm sure they can get that many without him. And for me, I'm not sure the losses bother him enough, especially when he gets his numbers. If you are invested, if it means something to you, you gotta hurt, you gotta ache. And I don't know if I see that from him. He gets 10 catches for $150 and they lose. Well, I got my numbers. I can't. I want you to be selfish. I want you to try to achieve all pro. I want you to try to become a Pro Bowl player. I want all your goals. I want you to try to achieve them, because I believe if you set those goals high, you're going to do what it takes in the offseason, because that's when the goals are met, in the offseason. I believe you're going to do what it takes. But the number one goal has always got to be team success. We've got to win. And I don't see that. I'm done. I'm out. I'm good.
Wow. I think I see it a little bit different. I've been in Baltimore for 17 years in my career, and I've not only heard, but I've seen worse. Wow. I mean, and you see, and what happens is somebody like Antonio, and I'm saying this to him right now, somebody like Antonio needs a big brother that steps in to simply say, have you lost your mind? Mm-hmm. And mean that, because I don't need nothing from you. I'm not your yes guy. Mm-hmm. I'm the person to simply say, bro, what are you doing? Right? Now, the only reason I'm gonna go at him about what he just said is because when I was a young me, if I didn't have him, I may have been caught up in the same things. And so I think sometimes, when people are able to view us from an outside perspective, it's like this perfect world. There's no such thing as a perfect world or a perfect person. And so when you think about the emotions that we go through as players, the ups and downs, you will never imagine what people go through. And everybody is not qualified to deal with those things, right? And so when you think about what Antonio is going through, you think about guys that's come through this league that's had these same things. I remember, won't call any names, but I remember a guy that would never show up to meetings. Just would not show up to meetings. Remember another guy that would show up to meetings and be drunk out of his mind. So you got to think about, and the moment that gave me the opportunity as a leader to step in and say, bro, let me help you. Let me expose to you how bright your future really can be if you just pay attention to somebody who's doing it right or came before you and done it right. So I don't believe. Yeah, so the question is, if I would want Antonio Brown on my team, I would take Antonio Brown, and I would take him with the understanding that we got some work to do. Yeah.
The problem the Steelers have right now, they do not have Ray Lewis in their locker room.
Skip, and listen, I do understand that. And all I'm saying is, I just believe men in the locker rooms, we don't take time to invest into kids that may have all the potential in the world.
Yep.
I'm telling this man because this man not only saved my life, this man put me in the right direction. What him and Rod Woodson done for me, men don't do.
But you were blessed to have them in your locker room when you needed them the most.
I was even more blessed because I listened.
That's true too.
Right? Because I understood what he was trying to tell me. But we can't keep throwing our kids away because of, he whatever, if these reports are right, he runs the wrong routes, whatever. Man, me and this man saw too much of that.
Okay, but
that's just me.
I hear what you're saying, but I really respect what my partner has been saying for weeks here. He said enough is enough. He's not a rookie. He's not a second-year player. He's been there for a while. They have won nothing with him there as their go-to receiver. And what disturbed me the most was after the Facebook Live incident in the locker room where he broke a code you cannot break. It would have offended you deeply if he had done that.
But Skip, that's all of our kids right now.
Okay, all the kids are doing it.
You know how freaking disruptive Facebook and social media and all that stuff is?
So he got reprimanded. He got fined in front of the team by Mike Tomlin. And the next thing we saw, after they lost the game, he's on a private jet on Facebook Live again, talking to his fans, saying, you people know the truth about me. It was the ultimate, it was sort of, he shot the middle finger at Mike Tomlin and the Steeler organization, like, I'm for you people. You people are my team. I don't really care about that team. I'm on my own team right now. It's my brand. I'm Antonio, and they're the Steelers.
All of our young kids are playing into that.
Yeah.
Their representation of their brand isn't found in what they do on the field or in the locker room anymore. It's how many people that I can get to tweet and follow me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, come on, that's just factual, right?
And not only did he, that wasn't the most egregious part. Is on the team plane. I mean, on the charter plane. It was about him holding up the media for an hour because he's getting a haircut, and he posted that on Snapchat. Well, I thought you've learned your lesson. It's like he wants validation from the very people that he's trying to appease. You said you apologized to your teammates. You said you apologized to Mike Tomlin. That should have been good. You going on Facebook and saying, I apologize to my team, blase, blase. No, you're not. No. Because see, you still don't get it. What I try to do is that when guys come in, I try to explain to them, this is how you do things. Now, if you do it like this, this is what will happen. If you do it like that, that's what's going to happen. And it's hard because Antonio Brown is their best player. Even when Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Tomlin said, you know what, you need to cut down on these penalties for excessive celebration, he thumbs his nose and says, hey, there's nothing to a boss, I got the money. Well, it's not about the money. It's about putting your defense, having them 15 yards fewer to defend for the team to get a touchdown or be in field goal range. That's what it's about. It's about these guys now, not about us. Since you want to make it about you, I'm out.
It's pretty obvious that the Steelers don't have the leader in the locker room to get him in check. If he's running his own routes and he's posting these things on Facebook, they've gotten away from.
No mercy.
This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. That's it for us today at Undisputed. We're here live from Houston all week, and we're joined by a great lineup of guests, including Eli Manning, Drew Brees, Antonio Brown, and Jason Witten. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Fox Sports, one of one.